next round, and a couple of AKs as well.
You got to think as well, getting someone who was with Liquid for as long as Elige was, there's got to be a lot of inside information that someone Elige could bring, like a theory about how to play the game and how like things were doing over at Liquid. Like there's a lot that they could be brought over that could just be really interesting long term, even for JT to pick up on and try to learn something from that. I'm sure that's going to be real interesting. It's just 2 people left on the T side here. Holzerk and Elige would love to do a little bit more damage. Het Trick may be the most obvious target, but going to be hard to find at the moment. He's quite far away from the action, so it looks like it's going to be a pretty pedestrian round here. Just NIP picking it up.
Yeah, well, they managed to get a kill. Maybe a second is available, but not meant to be. It is going to be Config keeping things nice and clean here. 2-0 for NIP, but as I mentioned, Complexity buying up in the third. They'll have the AK-47s, basic utility, no room for the AWP, but not a huge deal on Inferno. You see Brolan and Rez working in tandem, getting the job done here. And as mentioned, a pretty clean round, only giving one away. That's about what you'd like to expect, as it sounds like we've got a bit of a tactical timeout, maybe technical here, as the buys start to come through. Did he want to claim territory at the start? It looks like the maneuver could be going for a bit of banana control at the start of the round here, sending the FAMAS and the MP9 this side of the map, and a flashbang coming in from Coffins by the looks of things here. Smokes exchanged, here comes the flash, and a chance for Brolan to swing and hopefully find the first kill.
They've got such a presence here, you're right, especially with that flash that could be coming in. First sign of trouble, they could be going for it. And actually, he's pushed in so deep. With the FAMAS up close, the MP9 is a lot further back, but Grenade there, they're not even aware. I don't think, oh, Grim, he's still going to win the fight, but he didn't look like he was quite ready for it.
Well, the little expedition down towards the bottom of Banana yields a very disappointing result for NIP. We knew it would be a difficult round. It was Brolan given the difficult task of pushing for that first kill. Unfortunately, he gets a lot more than he bargained for. Takes Grim down to 7 points of health, but now we've got Rez. He's going for the gamble stack here, or at least suggesting that was the plan. Hoping there'll be players towards the top of the car, hearing that rotation. Might invite them in. He still has a smoke available. And it looks like Complexity are just going to bide their time here.
Risky rotation for NIP, putting 3 at the A-bomb side. You're really hoping that the silence that you were feeling out there on Banana was a sign that they were rotating back to top. Maybe it doesn't really seem like it. Complexity, they've just called a bit of a freeze, they're slowing it down, and now they could just be setting up for a plain execute towards the bomb side, in which case Rez would be on his own in there, which I don't know if that's going to be a lot to handle. No grenades to slow them down. It would have to be just pure mechanical aim coming out here with the M4, and he's already been discovered, and he can't really repeat that.
It's not looking good. If he gets one kill there and survives, maybe slows them down, this is worth going for, but nothing found upon entry. Very nice little execution there from Complexity. Didn't go for the full set piece. A couple of Molotovs, flashes, one smoke and spawn, and group fought in, and they found Rez alone. And he did very well to survive. Sure, he got a bit of damage off, but the fact he stayed alive here, keeps his gun, rotated back, that's absolutely fine. It was always going to be a difficult round, as suggested by the pause.
Yeah, this right here, one of the primary reasons why people have gone a little bit sour on Inferno recently, because it's so obvious as soon as he doesn't get those early kills that they are going to fall back. They're not going to try and go for the 4-on-5 retake, because people just don't do that. Even 4-on-4 retakes, people sometimes will just drop and say, it's not worth it, might as well just keep the rifles later on. It kind of has become a little bit emblematic of the map for the minute. I can see why people are a little bit tired of it, perhaps.
Yeah, I guess Dust 2 had that problem as well with the B bomb site. It always gets to the point as soon as you lost it, even just an exchange towards the B site, it would all fall apart. It got a little bit stagnant and stale to watch. But you have to understand that NIP, they're playing the percentages here. They're trying to make sure they have resources going forward, don't need to sacrifice everything they've got in those difficult rounds. And they didn't really have the firepower either. But now they have the residual cash, and we have got 3 M4s, a single FAMAS, and an MP9 for Brolan, who went down in the previous round. So 3 players towards B once again. Will he be trying his luck once more? NIP with a new look Swedish core, looking to reclaim some of the magic potentially, Anders.
I'm sure that's what they want. I mean, Brolan had some, Hampus had some positive things to say about Config, like the ability to send him in.
Yeah. He's like the sledgehammer of CSGO, right?
He really is.
He gets the job done. It's not pretty, but he gets it done.
I think it's crazy because that is true. Before that, Hampus was actually one of the entries, right? He was the one creating space, especially on Banana on this map, right? So maybe a luxury for him to say, you know what, you can do this Config and I'll try and remain focused on leading the team forward. I'm quite curious. I feel like towards the end end of it, even with Alexei, this team was starting to look a lot more like a team. They were starting to play a lot better. Right. I kind of lost hope for the project a little bit, so I'm willing to give them, I'm going to continue that even with the Switch. I feel like, all right, they proved enough in the end of the last season. I want to see them continue into this one.
That's very charitable of you, Anders. You're firm but fair. I think that's fair to say.
It's warm in Denmark, sun's out. Like, I'm just feeling charitable. I feel like, you know what, like, you're in a good mood. It's all good, you know. We'll give them at least a couple of days before we start to really hate on them.
That's totally fair. But for now, it's going to be the B play once again. Not really much of an execution, and he could be punished for it. Losing a couple of frags upon entry. Elise will take down Grim in the process, and Broland, Charlene Bright with the MP9. He does significant damage and maintains the advantage. Down to a 3 versus 2. 25 seconds, a bomb is planted, and both players heading towards the ruins here. Now, this one is viable. They have a little bit of utility, 3 flashes and an HE, and all players coming in from spawn here.
Look at how low they are in health on that complexity side. If they had any grenades of any kind to fall back and maybe try and slow this down, but they really don't. They have to win the fight straight up. It's not going to be a whole circuit. Old JT is now on his own with that AK, and they know exactly where he is. They should be able to pincer him in here. He was either going to get shot down from Config, or we would have backed right up into Hampus. So great timing. I love the fact that NIP didn't slow that down at all. They just went straight for it. They probably knew that they had at least one of the 2 players quite low from the MP9, so great job and a great retake.
Yeah, excellent work from Broland as well. He only gets 1 kill there, but he slows them right down. And just a note from Rez, this was excellent at just kind of segregating the T side. They couldn't get firm banana control at the start of the round, ended up losing a pick, and then had to limp back in towards the bomb side where they were ready and waiting, and the MP9 doing a lot of damage, slowing them right down in the 3-on-2 retake. Very successful. NIP back to their winning ways. There is a buy available for complexity by virtue of the bomb. AKs across the board here, and an AWP for Hetrick. Now, I've cast him a few times so far. I haven't been blown away. His skill is undeniable, but I would love to see him do it on the big stage here, on LAN. That's what we need to see him perform.
The problem is, right, it's just no longer in the current space good enough to be pretty good with the AWP. Yeah. Like because you're going to be up against somebody like a Brokey or a Monacy or someone later on. So just the middle of the road AWPing seems to be not really good enough. Now, maybe it will be against a whole circle, though I would say whole circle on this map is actually a pretty sick AWPer on a map like Inferno, so I wouldn't really underestimate him, but it just feels like you need that incredible highlight. You need the highlight moments. You need the assertive AWPing. If you're not taking over some part of the game, or at least presenting some threat on the map, then the other team can just safely ignore you. Like, they say, oh, it's fine, we'll smoke you off and we'll take the rest of the map, and you're going to be playing safe behind the smoke, so it's all good.
Well, for now, he's relatively passive, holding towards short, patrolling middle. You can see Boiler is smoked off for now, but it is going to be an apps pop by the looks of things here. Heavy manpower towards the apartment's position, a couple of flashes over, and they're going to try and surprise the likes of Config here. He is ready and waiting with AK in hand, a good position to hold them off, Anders. Will he be enough to slow them down?
He has to be, right, because otherwise Hetrick's really going to be on his own. So Config really holding his teammate's life in his hands. Oh, and he got spraying, even though I think he was a mistake in jumping, but he actually got the kill, and Hetrick will find Floppy, who had made his way down into pit behind him, so I can't really even believe it. I felt like that was going to go horribly wrong. Once you miss the first player coming out, that's supposed to be the end of it. That's when you usually get traded by at least 1 or 2 players coming around the corner. But Config, good for the triple, and JT finds himself on his own.
That was wild. I'm right there with you. The fact that Config ends up getting 3 there, the final kill was beautiful from him, by the way. The fact he kind of whiffs the spray to kick things off, didn't really get flashed, and he didn't get punished there. 3 in total. It was a pretty nice call from Complexity, all things considered. Just 1 player there, fending them off. The flashbang, though, just doesn't catch him at all. I think they just did the chimney flash of 4 players in towards the apartment. It didn't seem like they threw one from second middle, which is normally the standard there to try and flash that position off, but he had way too much control. We can see it from the POV of Hulzug there. Just couldn't find the shot. The send was too low.
And you got to wonder if that looked like one of those involuntary like scroll jumps that just somehow worked out. He got the headshot while he was accidentally jumping, and it just worked out anyway. 4-1. NIP, they're off to a pretty hot start right now. And especially if you look at the economy for Complexity. No bomb plan in the last round, so JT will have the AK to play around with, and that's about it.
We'll see what he can make of it. JT can have his moments. Whether he can find the lethal incision here in round number 6 is yet to be seen. He'll be working towards Banana. Got to fend off Brawland first, who's looking very strong at the car position. AK-47's available for the CT side. 3 of them out in full force here. AWP in the hands of Hedrick still, and Brawland looks like he's going to be flashed in. A whip of a shot towards the barrels, and unfortunately doesn't quite connect, but gets information there released on this side of the map. But bear in mind, this is an eco for Complexity. Single AK-47. The hero will have to be JT here as they smoke off towards the arch side. They have 2 smokes available, make it 3, but no flashes. So hoping to buy some space here, but how do they land the shots? How do they make the likes of Hedrick uncomfortable.
So little incentive right now for NIP to go and aggress on any of these positions, right? All they have to do is what they're doing now. Smoke off, throw some grenades, keep falling back. I mean, you can fall all the way back into the bomb site. Normally, that would be a big issue if the other team has a lot of utility, but you know that they're not going to be able to have that. So just play it safe and see if you can't find your way out of it that way. 30 seconds on the clock, and Hedrick moving a little bit in front of the smoke. I like this. Might be a chance for a free kill, and indeed, he'll take down JT. So that gives up the game almost entirely, right? Only 20 seconds left. They know what's coming next.
You can see the issue with the distinct lack of flashbangs here, having to face check those difficult angles. Elijah's done well. He's pulled one back, but that's all he'll be finding there. Pretty underwhelming round from Complexity. No real chance of planting the bomb. One single kill found in a scrappy exchange, and now with JT investing, he's got $3,500, so he's down to like a little Mac 10 territory, probably the latter considering it's Inferno. It's not a huge deal, but they are yet to get going here. Complexity down 5-1 against the new look Ninjas, who bring back in-game leader Hampus and go back to a Swedish core.
Yeah, I mean,
live up to the NIP name. We need to see those guys shining brightly now. This is the opportunity. All bets are off. Let's see what they can do.
And it feels like they were playing, I don't know if it was Alexi or it was just a philosophy within the team as a whole, but it feels like when you put somebody like a Rez or a Brolan on a tight leash,
right,
you're not going to get the full potential out of them. I wish we could see them unleashed a lot more.
You could see Config's frustrations with that sort of setup as well, indirectly like, suggesting that he didn't play well in a system. He wanted to be off the leash a little bit more.
Sure.
A chance for him to prove himself, and he's 10-0 at this point, Anders. So, so far, so good. They've had 4 days of prac, if you're not aware, with Hampus, and so far, so good. 5-1. It's going to be an A play, a quick one, once again focusing towards shore. Cole, make their way in.
Ooh, that's a really good flashbang just as he dropped down into the pit position. JT on the double opening, that's pretty much perfect. And a shot through the smoke will absolutely confirm the round. Grim to take down Rez, but it's a moment there. I don't know if they threw the... You were asking earlier for that corner flash you can throw from second mid. They certainly had one that flashed the pit perfectly.
Well, this is what Complexity are known for. JT's teams are always known for having incredibly good flashbangs. If you watch them on Overpass, it's their pocket pip usually. Not sure about it being this day, but this squad, this core, their flashbangs, their little set pieces like that, that's their bread and butter. That's how they get the majority of their rounds. And you can see that just one of those little novel plays that gets you in toward the site. Surprise, 4 players are up towards short with 1 flashbang. It can be overwhelming. And they got that done with the in-game leader JT on the Galil, the player who sacrificed his money in the previous round. Floppy throws the flash and 2 frags upon entry. Lovely stuff there. Is it sustainable? I'm not sure, but time will tell as we see 4 players survive Complexity as they get their second round as well. But money, as you'd imagine, pretty strong for the NIP boys. 8K on Rez, similar story for Config and Brolan, who save an AWP and an AK-47.
Yeah, Molotov down the other side. Focus on everything. Yeah, it's absolutely perfect. Floppy to set it up. Really love to see that. Yeah, it has to be sustainable as well, right? They're 5-2, so they really need to start to run a couple of rounds together here because NIP is still in this position where they have quite a good economy going into this next round.
Well, it's very early days. Like this is their first real gun round. You've got Horzak on the AWP, right? Sure, you had to pull something out the strap book previously to get you on your feet, but now you've got all the resources you need. These are your defaults. These are your actual rounds coming in from Complexity here. So we'll see what they can bring to the table. Focusing towards the apartments once again. New boy Elige dissecting the area, confirming the boiler room is clear. Molotovs in response as CTs have relinquished mid-control. You can see they're playing quite a passive crossfire setup here towards A. Focusing the efforts towards B, suggests maybe a retake coming in on that side of the map. And here's Config, once again fending them off towards the apartments and short.
Very different position here. Much harder to flash, although he actually will walk right into one. A little bit of a late flash towards the pit, so does put him off the position a bit. He tries to get out, and he actually will be good for the kill. Some shots to the smoke, but it's Hampus instead to receive a headshot from Grim on the other side, and it's right back into a 4-on-4. And I don't think even Config realized how deep they were already up in the graveyard position. 4 versus 3 now, and they're holding the middle. They know no flank is coming. I think they have a really good position here, Complexity.
Complexity have spotted a weakness, it seems. We said it might not be sustainable, but that certainly was almost a replication of the previous round. A little bit different in variations, but the same sort of methodology applied. Get basic control of the apartments, take some vision away from middle, and explode out of the apps and towards shore. And you can see Config even did very well to even get 1 frag there. They were overwhelmed. Stifling execution. You could see they had nowhere to go. Flashed off their key choke points. Smoked off a position. We had 2 players from Complexity in the pit, ready and waiting for those duels. And like I said, even the fact he got 1 cheeky kill there, he might not even be worth that. He actually did.
True, yeah.
He went above and beyond to even find one kill there. So this is a problem. NIP might need to take a timeout after this one and work out whether it's worth giving up so much freedom towards middle. They're giving them too much space here to allow these executions to come through.
And also an interesting thing to notice is once they actually got down into the pit and they were right at this haycart, right where this fight is happening, they're not really under a lot of pressure complexity. Like, they're not rushing to open it up. They look like they were quite content to sit back, wait to see if NIP were going to try anything, which, I mean, that can also backfire on you, right? Like, if NIP are ready and they pop flank...
So yeah, they will be buying into this one. They've still got the AWP of Headtrick, an AK-47 for Brolan. Now, this is the time you want to see Headtrick get stuck in, Anders. This is like what you talked about, that dynamic play, opening rounds up. This is the time to utilize him. He hasn't had to do much so far, currently sitting on 3 and 2. This is the round you'd like to see him. I'm going to go for a pick and banana or something. I'm going to go gain some control of the map. And here we go, towards banana. At least they can have a strong area of approach here. If they can control banana, it means their mid can be stronger as well, with just the AWP holding this side of the map.
Yeah, much easier to set up the kind of 4-1 split if you really feel the pressure towards that middle side of things, which might be what they're doing right here. So
exactly.
Just leave this AWP.
They took a timeout before this round, right? You know they're adjusting. And JT, he's going on the other side of the map and set it towards short, and it is a missed shot this time from Headtrick. Confirms they're on this side of the map. And his suspicions might be correct because there are 5 players ready and waiting to go.
Oh, wow. The flash off the corner. He can't survive this. Even if he gets a kill now, it's way too late.
Oh, wow.
Good call. That's, you know, we talked about earlier, like the lack of stress in slowing down the attack. But this one, they saw the opening and they took it immediately. And there was a real good follow through. I really like that. Some teams, when they see those kind of openings, they second guess themselves. They doubt themselves. They think, oh, wait a minute, maybe it's a setup, maybe it's a trap or something. They absolutely went for it. Well done.
NIP are eating out of the palm of JT's hand right now.
Yeah.
He is absolutely schooling them from a calling perspective. Like I said, the fact you've called a timeout there suggests you're fixing the issues towards short and apartments. He's read that well. He's called a set piece with 5 players towards banana with barely any mid-presence there whatsoever. And as you said, as soon as you confirm the AWPs on that side of the map, if I'm making that sort of call and prediction, they're going to be very aware. That's the remedy to that sort of problem as well. He sends all 5 players there, and the lifeline they are served up is the fact that Headtrick, he misses a shot. He misses quite an easy one by an AWP standard, to be honest with you. He falls off, and they know that's the opportunity to pounce. We've got 5 players here. You're never going to have a better opportunity than a flustered AWP. And look how he tries to get out. He goes to first oranges, Anders. The worst possible position you could really be in. He's done for. The round is over at that point when he misses the shot.
Yeah, that looked like one of those where did the bullet go moments. It really looked like he was dead on him. If it was CS2, we'd be blaming Subtic right now.
Subtic, let's not get into that whole debate. Well, we'll save that for later down the show. I've got lots to say. But
I have no doubt. No doubt.
We are going to see, of course, a buy available saving weapons once again. But NIP, they know that JT's in their head right now. He is sending them all around the map, and they're going to try and answer back with some aggression. Bit of a flash towards middle. They need info. They need to feel comfortable in one of these rounds. That will do. A double kill for Config. Gives them the man advantage. JT does well to pull one back. Headtrick this time towards the apartments. Maintains the advantage, but back to a 3-on-2. A Liege. A chance to shine potentially.
Yeah, they had it set up right. That was a 4-on-2, you're right, but he felt like he could go back down to that secondary angle and maybe pick up a fight there, but it was a little bit too aggressive. Grim and a Liege now 2 versus 3 to try and see if they can solve this one. They do have the smoke and the Molotov up, so at least they get the bomb plant down. This is where you would want to... These should be some of the heavier hitters on the team, right? Grim, we know how much work he can put in. A Liege kind of has been the NA superstar for as long as I can remember, so you'd want to see him shine in this moment. Flash out to try and buy a little bit more time, but the retake is happening really quickly, and I don't think Grim realized it's all on Liege now. He's good for the first one, and he could have nearly had Bro, and one more bullet might have done it. It's going to be close on that one, but it will be NIP to save the round.
Some tremors of glory there. Coming in from a Liege, it looked like there was a chance of the 1 versus 3, but very well done. Great retake from NIP there, and like we said, aggressive at the start. Pound for pound, they certainly got more firepower on the Swedish side, right? Knowing that they can take these fights at the start, likely win. That's the kind of game plan I want to see from them. If they're going to sit back in these passive holds, they will be punished. Liege, great attempt on the 1 versus 3. The second shot hits. You never know. I think he probably wins it, but NIP pull one back after giving up 3 in a row. Scoreline overall is going to be 6-4. Of course, a full buy on either side here. And we are going to see a 3-man setup towards B once more for NIP. Hampus, in-game leader. He'll be first on the chopping block here, up against Grim.
Yeah, aggressive right in front of the smoke. Would love to put a little bit of pressure on them, but For now, it's just going to be grenades. Didn't really get a chance to see anyone. They do have a 3-man setup, so they might be listening on the other side, trying to read what kind of grenades are coming down. When are we going to try and actually push? And they already will. Hampus has fallen back. I thought maybe they would have tried for more of a pop flash setup here to try and do something, but instead they're just sneaking out. And this is risky.
So, all quiet for now. JT will recover the bomb down in T-spawn. They've shown presence towards B and they've taken CT vision away at least. So, a job has been accomplished here. Head trick, AWP towards Arch. Defensive angle will be Molotoved off. And mid-control will be granted. He has to fall back. And it's that crossfire setup once again where NIP, they looked a little bit weak here. They were getting overwhelmed. Stifling executions likely. Head trick to be tested first. Another missed shot as he'll fall back towards the bomb site here.
Pretty weak flashbang against him, but somehow it was enough. He didn't even fire the gun there. Down to 35 seconds, but they're so close to the bomb site. There's Head Trick picking up the shot onto JT. And look who's hiding, just lying in wait there in the graveyard. It's Config to get taken down. I thought he was going to have more of an impact. I realized Floppy instead. Double opening and Elige goes down. 20 seconds. The bomb just now recovered as they pick it up with only 15 seconds left. And this should be a good position for them. There might be another round here for Complexity.
That was the only way into that situation. Floppy had to go above and beyond for his teammate. There's still a lot more work to be done here, though. 2-on-2. Horzerk and Floppy have got decent HP. A couple of flashes, and Horzerk knows he has to be active here. Nails the first shot. Floppy finds the hat trick, and his Complexity back to their winning ways here. 1 round away from tying things up as we go 6-5. What a great sequence for one of North America's finest. Floppy getting the job done from the apartments.
You would have thought for a minute there that they had such great positions, right? They get the opening kill, they still have Config in the graveyard, but obviously the wallbang shot from Horzerk is just completely nuts. Otherwise, they probably were in a prime position to win that round. There's only about 20 seconds left there at the end. Well done.
Good shit, Ricky. I agree. Lovely work there from Floppy. Money in a pretty precarious spot now. A couple of deagles coming through. 3 rifles otherwise, one of which is the AWP, but Hampus has been taken out of the equation early. He was one of the deagle players here, and JT hits a stunning shot towards CT spawn, and they're not slowing down. They might have helped themselves towards the B bomb site, but it is a bit of a stack here.
Oh, the flashbang. It could have been better. You brought it up earlier towards the pit, and this is another great setup for them. JT getting an opening there, and Grim's going to be hunting down Rez. Probably already realizing at that point that it was going to be a save no matter what. It's a 5-on-3, so he can probably guess that whoever was in construction was going to keep on running. And he's going to be able to catch him. This is great. They're going to tie up the scoreline. Complexity. It is their map pick, but still, they're doing a great amount of work here early. It looked to me like NIP were about to run away with it, but good to see Complexity not roll over so easily. Also, gone to the mix as well. He was 0 kills for a while, but now he's up to 2 at the very least.
At the very least. I'm really a big fan of what JT's putting down right now. From a calling perspective, it's almost the perfect game since the pistol. He is reading the game very well. He's got them running around in circles here, unable to keep up with his calls. The stacks aren't working out for them. The frags aren't coming through, and they're looking uncomfortable against these executions. They will save the AWP, but the looks of things here, Config doesn't salvage an M4, unfortunately. So at least he'll save something, but the money is not great. That's going to be Complexity tying things up at 6-6 and breaking the finances as well. But Head Trick with the AWP. 6 kills to his name, a couple of deagles around him. Great shot from Grim getting the job done there to open things up. But yeah, Head Trick once again. If he can find an opener here, if he can do something to dissect the map, get information and advantage, that would be great. He's chosen the B side of the map here. He's got a smoke and an incendiary. Might just be a flash from a teammate here and just try and get the opening frag if possible. But he's holding quite a defensive line, not going for the full send pick. Holding the CT corner. And Horzerk, he's operating towards middle. 2 players here on the quad side, both of the Eagles.
It's a difficult ride or line of ride when you've got this AWP, right? Because you want to have an impact on the round, but you also don't want to throw it away. So right now he's so far back that he's probably risking never running into anyone. And by the time that they realize this is going to be a bit of an A pinch, then maybe it's just too late and he can't even get the AWP into position at all. But the Deagles, we haven't seen much of them today. Haven't been any crazy 1D coming out really. So obviously the first match was over really quickly, so we didn't get much of a chance to see any Counter-Strike really at all.
Well, the Deagles will strike first. It's a single kill for Config, but Brolan, he sneaks out of the smoke towards the arch side. A double kill with the USP. They've got a 4-on-2 here. This was the eco. We thought it would be up to the AWP, but it's the silenced USP that shines brightly, looking for its 3rd kill of the round as well. Not going to happen, but there it is. Rez will close things out, and that's a bit of a disaster. the first signs of weakness here from Complexity up against the pistols only. You thought it'd be an equal trade there towards the arch side, but here's the play from Brolan. Sneaking out of this smoke, he can't believe his luck. No one's looking at Fernandez, and he will be saving the day. Excellent work.
Yeah, they were busy trying to wall bang down Config on the other side, and it just didn't really work out. That's a horrible round to let go of. Results in a double AWP setup with Rez wielding the second AWP there on the NIP side. And we've seen that before. Rez can definitely hit some shots with it, so might look a bit funny, but wouldn't really underestimate him.
He normally brings out the AWP when there's no other option. That's the problem. Like I remember back at Pro League, he had to replace S-Tag mid-tournament. It normally suggests things aren't going well. And a map like Inferno, double AWPs are viable. I just don't think it was part of the main game plan going into this affair. And it's probably just like, right, nothing's really working right now. We're looking a little bit thin on the A-bomb side. Let's see if we can boost the defense here with an AWP. And Rez will be tested right now. Can he hit this first shot? It looks good. He knows there's a player there, but Elige, my God, that is precise. Completely eviscerates him towards the library, and Hetrick is surrounded once again.
Well, Brolan doing an amazing job at holding off. That was going to be a potential B pincer. If that doesn't work out, if Brolan goes down, they're once again going to be right on Hetrick, but they're falling back right into the arms of Config. He's down here. Can they get rid of him? He's still got about a minute left and some good shots already ringing out to at least test him early on here. 50 seconds, double spray down for Config. And on the other side, Hampers coming up big with that return kill. So they are able to get the defense in place. But a real change of pace coming out for Complexity. They were trying so quick, like a brand new strategy coming out from them, right? They try and hit that arch position, and this opening kill, I feel like this should have been the round for Complexity. The call as a whole is a really good one.
It was looking so good for them. You would assume maybe a banana split coming in there, one extra creamy perhaps, but opted to go back towards short. They found so much success so far in this first half, but Config, this time shining brightly, manages to take multiple players down with the AK-47, saves the day once again, and it will be NIP winning the half at this stage. Final round as we get into number 15 here. Hetrick, aggressive, gets the info, but can't quite connect the shot. A difficult one, but he does see two players towards T-steps at least, enabling control of Banana. So they've got something for it. They've managed to segregate the T side, force him up towards middle. Nice grenade towards Horzak there. Does 18 damage as Config playing a bit more heads up this time.
I think that's the most forward that we've seen Hetrick be early on in a round. He's really been passive with this AWP, and I don't know if I love it yet. I'd love to see him have just a little bit more say. They're going to try and be quick with it again. Down in the pit they go. Hamper's going to get traded. And Config playing up close to the hay card. He's got no idea if someone's walking up behind. Yeah, that smoke not covering everything. He's got the right read. Good shot onto Holzerk. Spins around and ready to catch Elige, but he's going to get the better of him. And it's right back into a 2 versus 3. The bomb picked up on JT, and he's going to go straight for the plant. No delays here. All right.
It's looking like this half is done. Ladies and gentlemen, Complexity, after losing the pistol, put on a bit of a clinic here on the T side of Inferno. Sure, they don't end up winning it, but the rounds they did were very impressive. It has to be said, like in terms of firepower, NIP probably take that title in this particular matchup, but in terms of the executions, the reading of the setups here, Complexity have had that number multiple times. We've put it right down the middle. An admirable showing here from Complexity to kick things off. It's going to be 8-7 as we'll take a break and be back for the second half very
T-side, which could be great, but also if you have a slow start here, if you don't quite get the weapons up and running, it could be a very different experience. So we'll see what NIP can come up with. Hampus obviously fresh back in the leadership chair on that side of things, going to be calling for this team, and we'll find out exactly how that's going to be playing out. Config's having himself a game, even if it's slowed down, but he's 17-6.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. You got to respect him, and Config's firing on all cylinders. And for now, a slower approach. You've got a couple of P250s. Make it 3 of them, in fact, for Brolan, Rez, and Hampus. Focusing on that firepower here. As we will see them dissect the map, they've got some banana control. Here's Brolan. Just going to be showing a little bit of presence here. Challenging JT, who doesn't get the info, but Rez, he gets a lot more than that. That's the opening frag towards the arch side. Horzak, he still sits towards the cubby, so he could be overlooked here. Still a fighting chance as Complexity hold their ground.
3 P250s, Henry, that are just sneaking around the map looking for that one tap that one of them found. I think Rez there on the opening, so just very clinical way to get started. You're surgically looking for an opening. You're not trying to rush anyone down. You're not trying to waterfall into any positions. You're just waiting to see if you can pick somebody off, and they did. And now they're all grouping up towards Banana. Though I like this. They're going to look for someone in the middle. Even if he didn't get the kill, Grim, he's going to know no one else is there. JT on the early headshot in return. And they know everything. Complexity, quick on the rotation. That little peek down the middle actually told them a lot about what was coming.
Well, here we go. JT pulls one back there from the coffins, but has to sacrifice bomb site control here. The retake is on. They do have a kit for Hulzerk and a smoke. That is key. One flashbang remaining and 3 players towards the ruin. So here comes the smoke. A flashbang to follow. And it's down to Hulzerk to set his teammates up here. They need to find multiple frags quickly in this 4-on-4.
This better be a really good flashbang, and so far it's not really doing much of anything. Hampus and Headtrick, though, good kills to try and hold on to this bomb plant, and now dancing around the pillar for a minute.
Wow.
Oh, JT, wide swing! He's going to be taking down Rez and Headtrick, both then on the wrong side of the smoke. Hampus finds himself, but there's almost no time here. No kit either, and with that kill, it is done. Hampus to clean it up. Nice triple, and a really, really close pistol that goes the way of NIP.
It certainly does there. Hampus to clutch up in the 2 versus 1. It's one of those really awkward scenarios where you haven't got the kit. It's out of reach. One of you's got to go for the defuse, and you've just got to hope your teammate steps up, finds the kill. It was JT up against the P250. Nothing could be done. Grim just has to hold his breath, hope for the best there, and it all falls apart. It will be 9-7 NIP with the opening frag with the P250 and closing it out with style as well. Complexity answering back though, and they do have a force buy here and a Liege for Mass. He's been dropped that, and he's got Helmet as well. So we'll see what he can make of it, whether he wants to step up and actually get stuck in at the start. He's boosted towards B right now. You can see just above the flames, a precarious spot, but are getting a bit of action here. Time will tell as they actually start to fall back. Looks like we'll have a fast A play here from NIP.
How do you like this kind of force up? Are you a fan of the odd? Like, it's definitely an attempt to try and play a little bit outside of the current meta.
I think so. Like, force buying on Inferno especially, like, try and treat it like a gun round with the smokes, trying to slow them down. That's what you're really going for. Trying to make them uncomfortable.
That's more normal, right?
So we'll see if Floppy can step up here. The force buy looking pretty good so far. Double kill with that 5-7. Takes down Config and Rez. Headtrick answers back, but they don't swarm the bomb site just yet. They're not sure if they're walking in towards the stack here. Smoke off towards Moto. CT's rotating in, but Hampus will soon clear out the bomb site as the rotations come through. The CTs need to be active here, make them uncomfortable when the plant comes in.
Who even needs a FAMAS when you've got the 5-7 up close? It's such a ridiculous pistol, and probably getting 2 kills like that should make a big difference here. Retake will still be quite tricky. They don't have the nades. They certainly don't have the defuse kit either, and Hampus already spotted a fair few of them on the other side there. Smoke, and they're going to try and see if they get the job done. Grim gets one more shot, but it's not going to be working out so well. One versus one now, and JT is almost going to be able to get the job done, but not quite. It's a real good attempt. You got to say, Complexity putting in a lot of work in that round.
Close, but no cigar. Unfortunately, on the CT side of Inferno, if you have a close round like that, you're tempted to buy up into it. Only one player survived, but you can't really justify it. Like, it has to be fully going forward. It was a great attempt here. Floppy getting the double kills you might expect with that 5-7. He makes things very uncomfortable, but they stacked primarily towards the B bomb side. We saw a Liege boosted up on first oranges there, looking for the initial kill. Rotations were just too far gone, couldn't capitalize upon the advantage, and now a tactical timeout. Makes a lot of sense here, as you know the money's going to be an issue, and as I am seeing a buy here. Hulzerk, the AWPer, has confirmed they will be purchasing into this one. A chance to strike and potentially take down NIP where they're not expecting it here. They'll be down in the dumps as well financially. They'll have Galils, a MAC-10. There is some sense behind this one, but if you lose this round on the cold side, you're in a lot of trouble. A lot of hot water here. So this is a huge call to make. You've got a Hulzerk M4 and a Liege for Mass, and hopefully they can replicate some of the success they found with the pistols in the previous round, because this is going to be a very challenging round.
Yeah, the element of surprise with these buys, but I feel like it's so hard to catch teams that are top level right now with these kind of buys. I feel like teams are so careful.
Again, if I'm suspecting it, the fact it's come down to 1 versus 1, you'll certainly be aware of the possibility, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be treating this round any differently to any other gun round. You'll be working together, making sure the buddy system is fully utilized as they hunt for information once again. They've confirmed B is clear, but maybe not for long. Flashbang goes over. Grim opens things up with a double kill from the MAC-10. That might shut down their prospects for this round unless JT can do something miraculous here with the smoke down towards the B bomb site.
Yeah, and they're going to know that he's in there, right? They're not just going to be rushing through because they know somebody threw the flashbang for that kind of peek, so they're pretty well aware of what's going on. Roland just sitting around here, making sure no one can pick up any other guns that might be dropped on the floor on Banana. And they could slow it down. They got a minute. They're kind of checking top mid as well. So they're spending a little bit, I think, of time. It's probably good for NIP to just slow it down and see if Complexity will try another pop flash, will try anything crazy.
So JT has fired off a few deagle shots, suggesting it's just a deagle here. Come on in. give it a go. He's called for Floppy to rotate over as well, so he has got the M4 in hand. Floppy is there with the MP9 in spawn. There is a chance they win this. JT would have to find at least 2 kills, setting up Floppy with a big spray down here. And it looks to be maybe a contact play, but we'll see. JT has to deliver. Multiple frags now.
If he can distract with a kill, then maybe Floppy could be allowed to sort of jump.
Exactly.
Smoke. But he's going to get smoked off as well.
Big
line up Floppy. That double came out of nowhere. You would have thought at least a couple of players would have been watching that position. He wasn't even flashed through or anything. He just got the perfect lineup for it. Bomb is going to get planted. Still a 2-on-1, but only for a second there. Rez is going to go down. So now Brolin on his own. Back at the bomb side with the AK in hand, and they're sneaking right in. Good headshot. And the spray, it looked like he could have had it, but JT to the rescue. And Complexity, risky force up in this round, but it worked out.
This time it works out for them for sure. The force buy in the previous round came down to a 1v1. They took the timeout, they discussed their options, and they took the risk. The huge risk to buy up on the CT side in the third round when you're 2-0 down. Floppy, I didn't think he'd be the player to deliver there. I thought it'd be the M4 towards Coffins, but like you said, the distraction was enough. The swing was magnificent from Floppy, who continues his good form here on Inferno. Double kill found, and JT wins out in the 1v1 clutch. That is massive for Complexity. They are right back online in this series now, as we'll see them have the AK-47s on their side of the server. NIP force buying back in with what they can. A couple of Galils, 3 pistols, but pretty nice utility. So we'll see if they want to favor those apartment positions, see if they can pop out as well towards A, as they start to head towards that side of the map here to kick things off in round number 19.
Especially when you see Tech 9, right?
Exactly.
It's such a favorite weapon to try and get that pit rush down. So yeah, why not? You still got Brolin in the middle with a flashbang, so he could set it up at any moment. He could go in there and try and help out. And they were hit quite a number of times in that position. That might inspire you on your own T side. You might be thinking, all right, you know what, that worked pretty well for them. Why don't we give it a shot? Campus with some creative wall bangs coming out.
Someone killed me with that and faced it like 2 days ago. Is the worst feeling. He insta killed me with 1 shot in the deagle when I was up on the atrium. It doesn't feel good.
No.
Don't go up there. Would be my advice.
Oh man, it's risky doing it as well. Like you could just get returned on, couldn't you? Like they're waiting down there.
Yeah. So we predicted apartments, Anders. We've got 2 players towards there. It's Hampus and Rez. You would assume a flashbang, bit of a lurk smoke coming through as well. Here's the commitment. It doesn't look amazing for them, but the triple grenade is working out nicely. Rez will find a double kill as he swings in with the Tech 9 here, and that might be round done. It looks like they've done enough here. It's always about the set piece, the novel plays in these sort of rounds, and they execute perfectly there, taking the vision away from the pit. Triple nade towards that position, and the apps pop comes through. It works out very well indeed. Rez getting both frags and securing the round.
And a funny way for that smoke that you put down to backfire, right? You throw that smoke right by the bicycle because you're that you see right there. That's a CT smoke that he's throwing to avoid getting Molotov, and then almost just signals to them, well, we know where you're going to be then. Yeah, like, great. We'll just absolutely bombard you. Good times. That is such a great creative use of grenades.
Wow, the force buy wars rage on here, Anders, as NIP with 3 pistols, 2 Galils have a very convincing round. They don't give up anything here. The upgrades are plenty. We're coming through. A couple of M4s found. Problem is they've got a couple of Galils in the mix as well, so they will have less firepower going forward, but they'll take that all day long. Couldn't have gone any better for them. So that's a sigh of relief. Things were getting a little bit problematic there, losing to the pistols and the force buys, but here we go, 11-8. There is quite a lot saved on the CT side, I have to say. JT with an AK-47. 2 FAMASs otherwise for Elige and Grim. So I don't think they force buy this one, and indeed they will not. I don't think that's the play. And so plenty of CS to be played here. We'll see whether they can at least cause a dent, make this one uncomfortable. They've won with pistols before, as they send 3 players towards the B side of the map once again. Elige will join them with his FAMAS.
Some of the risk, I guess, in doing these force-ups, right, is you've also massively delayed the point in time where Hall circling at that AWP on the CT side. He had it a bit on the T side, and we never really got to see much of it. And he's obviously stuck at 4 kills for the minute here, but it'd be great to see him pick that up just to try and shut down some of these hard positions, because I feel like he is a more aggressive AWP player than Hetrick is. Yeah. He definitely will feel comfortable in trying to take these swings, especially if he can get some of the early fights going his way. I feel like they need him right now. They can't play this 4-on-5. They need Holzerk to step it up and take some swings with that big rifle.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. you couldn't ask for much more from JT from a tactical point of view. He set the boys up plenty of times here. It's up to
Top fragging as well.
Up to the players to land their shots, and players like Horzog, one of the stars here. It's Inferno, not an Orpus paradise by any stretch, but certainly a map he normally delivers on. So here comes NIP. Contact play in towards the B bomb site here. There's a quick smoke, sending in players before they've been detected, and Elise will find the first here. A lifeline, a chance, as Grim will maintain that advantage here. Config fires back through the smoke. Brings it back to a 3-on-3, 30 seconds here. There are CTs ready and waiting. They'll probably go for this one. Grim needs to try and find a quick one through the smoke here. Can't deny the plant. He's low HP as well and might be going down relatively quickly. Here comes the backstab from Rez as well. Looks like it's almost a done deal for NIP.
Yeah, this is rough, though, because even if they wanted to pull the plug on this round complexity and save, which people will probably do a lot of the time here in a 3-on-3, now they can't. They're committed to it, and they're actually just boxed in. No way out of this one. Rez gets a kill. Config on the follow-up here, and he's going to continue to spray. 21 kills on the Dane. He really is, you mentioned earlier, sledgehammer.
I got to speak to him earlier, right? And I asked him, is this the sort of environment you will thrive in? Because there's no structure, and you've only had 4 days of practice, and he just gave me a wry smile and just nodded and goes, this is where I can actually do my work. I said, yeah, that's what I thought you'd say. And it's great to see, like, translated here. I guess this is the perfect event for him. There's so many teams that are not going to be playing top-level meta Counter-Strike right now, and a chance for him to exploit some of the weaknesses of these new lineups. So, yeah, you'd expect Config to go above and beyond this tournament. A great showing so far. As you mentioned,
some of his efficiency will fall off quite a bit, probably. But, I mean, it's hard to, like, argue against him, because you see what he's doing here. It's just so ridiculous, right? And I'm not even sure Inferno is one of his better maps. Like, I feel like you put him on something like Overpass, and he's probably going to...
A Mirage, yeah. That Mirage is where he does that aggressive bullshit on the CT side. It's so difficult to control, but let's see what they can make of round number 21 here. Like I said, M4s across the board, concessions to be made, as there are no kits, no helmets.
And no AWP.
And the fact is an M4 for Hampus as well, that makes that a little bit more difficult to contain. He will have the rate of fire and movement capabilities up the M4. We'll see whether he can make it shine here. Making his way forward at the tip of the spear. In-game leader Hampus ready and waiting for any aggro from Coffins. He'll detect Grim on the other side. Just gives him a little kiss towards the Coffin. 12 damage.
They're going to try and boost up on top of the smoke. This is really, really sick and very hard to read on the other side as well. Got to be so careful on that one. Oh, but Grim.
Well read.
It's hard to read, but he absolutely read it. Config going down. That's beautiful.
Just what they needed. It was always going to be a very difficult round here. The lack of utility, no kits, and now they have a man advantage. But how do they react to it? Looks like they're peeling off. They want to enable these crossfires. Noticing the clock is low. We've hit the 40-second mark here. You've got B control, and they've got 3 players waiting on the A bomb site here. Some actual decent utility left over as well. Elise has just dropped his smoke here towards the arch side. That's going to buy a ton of time. Look how difficult this will be now to even enter the A bomb site.
25 seconds, yeah. If they don't get the entry and pretty much flawlessly here, they're going to run out of time probably really soon. 20 seconds now. Good couple of kills. It's just Rez and Hetrick left, and they're trying to fight their way out. It looks like it's almost successful. Hetrick swings for it instead of trying to go for the bomb. He wanted to try and see if he could isolate that 1 versus 1, and honestly, if he had, probably would have been able to win the round. But, yeah, good defense from Complexity. They needed to win this round. I feel like if they lose this round, it's a 13-8 scoreline, and again, their economy's reset, and they probably have to, like, it's probably not going to be recoverable at that point in time, but this is absolutely what they needed.
Oh, it all started with that Grim pick, shutting down the boost prospect as well. This was looking like a great round for NIP. They had full map control. They had the CTs rotated into poor positions, but that boost, it lets them down, brings them into a 5 versus 4, and then Complexity holding on. Elise with that beautiful smoke towards the arch. There 25 seconds left. Nothing they could do as we get into the next round here. Number 22, you can see they're starting to find their mojo on the B side of the map as they look for control. As Brolan can do nothing about it. Molotov'd off. Rez with a nice position towards the apartments, but presumably won't be doing anything too quickly. Bomb's still down in T-spawn, so just mid-control is what they're after right now.
I love it when you take over this position that Rez is doing early in a round, because sometimes the CTs will fall back and they don't even notice. They don't even realize that they could be running back into it. A little bit like what almost happened there, although it was a pretty quick movement coming through, so didn't expose himself that much. But sometimes just getting into that forward position of the hallway, and nobody has any idea inside of the bomb site. I think they're safe for a while. Grim boosted to look right on over, and he's not going to miss the opportunity either.
Giving them a taste of their own medicine, showing them how the boost is done. As another opening pick for Grim is found here. Elige in a strong position here towards the library. It will be a double peak though, and it will be taken down, so they'll bring things back into their favor. A 4-on-4 will favor the T side, especially on Inferno. You can see how the defense is spread thin across the map. 2 players on either bomb side, and Config behind enemy lines. He's deep in CT spawn, goes back towards the library as they recover the bomb. 30 seconds remaining, Anders, and it has to be A at this point, surely.
Holzerk sneaking through
the bomb.
The UMP, but he's going to find the only target that he could have probably won against there. Rez just goes down, and Holzerk, great headshot to bring down Hampus, and whatever kind of split was about to happen at the A bomb site, it's been completely broken wide open instead. Head trick and Config are left, and surely Complexity could just relax here. They are going for a couple of fights, maybe didn't even need to do that. The bomb was all the way back towards second middle. They would have been fine either way, but huge round for Complexity, and all thanks to the UMP.
Who would have thought? The unlikely hero of the round, Holzerk and his UMP getting a double kill at the perfect time as well. Look at that, 25 seconds remaining. We kind of pointed it out. The bomb and T-spawn with 40 seconds remaining, a little bit precarious, but not a huge deal as long as you kind of dot your I's, cross your T's, have these crossfires, these choke points covered, and they were focusing too deep down the enemy lines in CT spawn library, thinking the job was done, and they lose the bomb, and that's a very frustrating round to give up. It's actually sent them spiraling into a full eco. One single flashbang to set them up. They have to run the gauntlet here as JT ready and waiting for the big spray down, looking for multiple members here, and he does enough. 2 will do, but the lack of helmet is a problem. Grim takes a Glock bullet to the face, and he takes 88 damage en route. They can't afford to lose a frag here. Well, that storyline's already over. Can Grim survive at the back? Holzerk doing everything he can to ensure survival.
That's actually a pretty important spray down, right? This should have been their round every single time, but if they would have hunted down Grim, they could have opened up a bomb plant, and that's when things usually get a little bit more tricky. Hampus just wants the kill, wants to finish off what they started against Grim. Looks like it could have been possible, but he'll actually live through that one, so not at all bad. They do lose a couple of players there, but you'll take it. They're building a really quick comeback here. They were almost down 13-8, but they managed to turn it around, and now it's 11-12, so absolutely anything could happen. Economy starting to go the way. We're finally seeing Holzerk with the AWP now on the CT side.
He's starting to wake up, man. He's starting to find multiple frags, getting in that zone where he's hard to sink his fangs in at this point. The part of the pun.
I would want to see something like that, definitely, right? Because, and I think to shut down somebody like Config as well, that would be so nice, right? You just get that one little engagement. They're going to be boosting him up. This time on the boiler side of middle. They almost have the kill. I can't believe that is not a connection. It looked like it was dead on. Yeah,
looked like it was going for the motions there. Looked like a guaranteed frag. It doesn't connect, but JT, he makes up for it. That's a stunning shot there with the M4A4 towards the banana side of the map. Broadland goes down early on in the round here. 5-on-4. They will respond with some mid-utility. Smoke towards Arch side. Molotov at quad and Elige trying to find stronger positioning here. He'll get one, but caught out. It's down to Floppy. They've got the man advantage, but he needs to provide some self-preservation here. Stay alive as long as possible.
Yeah, and trying to sell them on a little bit of a trick there, right? He puts up the smoke like he's still going to be hiding towards that side of the pit, but actually relocates himself. And he's got so much backup on the other side of the bomb site, so he should be fine. Also, just walking out into the open, not afraid at all. 50 seconds left here for the 3 versus 4. And they're all grouped up on this side. Floppy's going to get the kill, and they're going to find a free one on Config, so no issues here. Hampus goes down, almost, I think, still moving there, Floppy. Great defense, Complexity. They tie up the scoreline, and they are well on their way back. And this is their map pick, so they obviously would love to pick this one up.
Yeah, it's the start of a new season. Everyone's put their chips down on the table. It's Elige moving into Complexity after 8 years in Liquid, Anders. It's a move that makes a lot of sense, but one that has to work out, I think. Like, considering where he was in his career, where Complexity were as well, both parties need this to work out. They need to show this is actually the correct move, that North American still has prospects that can deliver. And so far, so good. This is a good showing. Like, the T side, they had all the moves on the T side. And now, starting to see Holzer wake up and actually have some impact here.
There's obviously so many roster changes to talk about, you know, after the sort of the post-major roster shuffle. I feel like the Elige one is one of the wildest ones. Yeah. Like, I'm so curious about how this will play out long term. Yeah, I mean, Elige, he's still a young player. I keep forgetting, but I think he's 25 now. So I keep thinking he has had a long career already, but he could still do a lot, and it would be amazing. I mean, amazing time for him to prove what he's actually made of here. And now that he's lost like that comfort zone in Liquid, that obviously was like his little kingdom over there. I'm really curious to see how it'll play out on Complexity.
Currently sat at 13 frags, just above Holzerk at 10, mid-table. That's this is a great resurgence for Complexity. It looked like they were down and out at one point, but they've fought very hard indeed to get themselves back in this advantageous spot. They're actually on the precipice of taking round number 13 up against these Deagles. There is a Brolan AK-47. Now, Brolan currently sat on 18 kills, having a decent game, but not showing the form that makes me believe he can save this one. It's Hulzerk to be tested first. As we mentioned, he's getting hotter and hotter on the server. Misses out on the first kill here, but here's JT in position, but maybe not for long.
Spotted it, they know definitely. Oh, what a great entry, but the ult sneaking around. This is the kind of stuff you probably wouldn't see Hedrick try and do, but Hulzerk, he'll give it a crack and try and see if he can break it through, and it's going to cost him everything. That's the other side of the coin, playing that aggressive AWP. And now that they picked it up, do they even want to go for it here? They don't really have the kind of money that you'd want to try and go for a 2-on-3 retake, so they're going to be backing off. And NIP finding an almost miraculous round here. That was Brolan giving them the opening. I don't even know if he just pre-fired the pillar and or if he actually did spot him out, but either way, once he sees the blood on the wall behind him, he definitely knows.
They were eradicating risks as they were making their way into that B bomb site, smoking down towards Coffin and Spawn, trying to make sure they could just focus on those key positions. And yeah, the Molotov down, I think, towards JT as well, really cooked his goose there. He had to be out in the open. Only was ever going to be good for one there, a compromised spot. And it's NIP, I would say they kind of needed that round. They just lost 4 in a row. That was their eco there with an AK-47, managing to get the job done just about there with the Brolan contributions. As mentioned, though, the money's not an amazing spot for Complexity. This is how it all started, of course, with the little aggressive gambit there from the CT side, but we'll see if Complexity can bring a nice, healthy complexion for round number 26. Hulzerk feeling the frustrations there a little bit. 11 kills to his name, but they do manage to bring in 3 M4s, otherwise in the saved AK. Round number 26 here, bit of a swing round. We'll see who comes out on top. It's aggression from Hulzerk once again. Fires through the smoke, nothing connecting just yet.
Just a flashbang to unseat him from that Coffin's position in the previous round. I mean, sometimes when we bring up the utility and sort of mention what kind of grenades people have, that's why it's so important. Just one flashbang to push the AWP off the corner initially can make such a big difference here. But a pretty common split seeing on the defensive side. Complexity maybe a little bit further back than you would like. I don't mind that Hulzerk's on this corner, but it's one of those things where if he could get smoked off, he could get flashed off this corner once again, and then they are really, really blind towards what's happening at Arch. So if they do that, if they realize where he is, it could turn it into some sort of a B-split if they start to put all the pieces together here. Which, again, I think Hampus is a pretty competent leader. I'm sure
absolutely
that, he's going to be good for something like that.
They've still got the majority of their smokes, 4 of them to be exact, as they look for mid-control here. Molotov towards the quad side. As you mentioned, no CT presence there at all. It's Hulzerk patrolling the Arch with the AWP, but as mentioned, he can be segregated by utility. Arch should be very vulnerable, but it does look like an A attack. All 5 players are here, and Alish has got a bit of a gap.
Kind of like this, though. He needs the information, although it's very risky. Surely they're going to see, but they won't. A little bit of a failed jump there. I don't think he meant to do that. Leaves Floppy in a very awkward position. Hulzerk's been smoked out on the other side. He's trying to get back in, and he just actually runs right for the smoke. That's super risky. 20 seconds now, and Floppy, good spray on the first. He's ready in case anyone's going to come through the smoke, but no one is right now. Hulzerk's dead and out, and they're just waiting, delaying it, trying to isolate him in this corner, and finally they do. Rez with some good taps are coming through. Just 6 seconds as the bomb goes down, and JT to try and see if he can go for the retake.
He's known for a clutch or two. His old JT. We'll see what he can make of this one. Throws the incendiary to disrupt the positioning of Rez. Gets that first headshot. Now up against the AWP of Hedrick. He's in a bad position here. The AWP, not an ideal weapon as JT vaults up towards the hay bales. A chance of the first kill here. Hedrick in a lot of trouble. The bomb ticking at some pace now, and he hits the shot. JT, frustrating signs there because, yeah, he probably should have won that. If he can find the window of opportunity, the spacing to close the gap, he could have really made that uncomfortable. A very decent effort, bringing it down to the 1 versus 1, but it will be NIP finding multiple rounds in a row here. That was the incendiary and a great follow-up shot as well. Hedrick, under so much pressure, he did very well to even get close to winning that one.
Yeah, he really did. That was
big round as well. That's a full eco for Complexity.
And a must-win shot out of Hedrick, right? If he fails that one, he's likely get hunted down, and it maybe could have turned out the other way. They're out of money, though, Henry. This is a bit of a disaster. 14-12. They've got 1 flashbang and a P250 on a leash, and that's about it. So, a very, very potentially deadly position here. Config at 23 kills. Again, slowed down a bit. I think he was 11-0 or something early on. He really did start off really hot, but it's still a very impressive scoreline, even if it's a little bit slower here in the second half.
Well, let's see what they can make of it. They've managed to win ecos in this half, but this really is the full eco. They've gone for the 4-man stack over towards the B side of the map here. Floppy, he knows he's in danger. Reds will take care of it, and that's going to be the round secured. Unfortunately, that's map points on their opponent's map pick here. Inferno in pretty dire situation now for Complexity. They'll need 3 rounds in a row to take us to overtime, as we'll see them just making their way towards T-spawn, looking for any exits here. That is the round confirmed over, and just hoping they can maybe take 1 rifle into the next round. That's about as good as it can possibly get.
Yeah, it looked so doable at one point. It actually looked like they had a 4-round comeback. It looked like they were going to be able to do it on the CT side, but they didn't have the depth of economy to sustain even the one loss that they had over at that B bomb site, where they snuck on through and they won the fight against Holzerk on that AWP that made all the difference in the world. So NIP going to be at 15. Configs out hunting at least for the 1 kill. All right, not going to fully commit to it, although they will try and do some damage right at the end here with the added blast radius. You might as well try. You might as well give it a shot, but they're not going to be able to. Everyone lives on NIP and Complexity. Yeah, like you said, 3 in a row is what they're going to be staring down the barrel off here. That's what they need right now to bring it into overtime.
You can see TC behind them, maybe getting ready for a tactical timeout here. And indeed, you can hear the dulcet tones of the tactical timeout come through. We are going to have a nice full buy here, at least for Complexity. As we enter round number 28, they're going to have the AWP of Holzerk, still on 11 kills. Hasn't really found that X factor in the second half. Had a couple.
He's just one of the people that's supposed to be really bringing this team to a new level. And he did try in one of those previous rounds to sneak up, where he sort of like was playing around the smoke over at the quad side. I like that kind of thing. It's going to be Holzerk to take a little bit of a risk. Probably did want to take that peek, but I think he wanted to land right in the angle as opposed to trying to walk back into it. So probably just got overshot a little bit on that one. And they might be changing the pace here. Look at it. They're not slowing down at all. NIP, they want to finish this map right now. Elige, though, good pre-fire. Even though he just flashed for a minute there, going to be taking down Hampus anyway. And now a little bit of a failed shot there. Holzerk gets taken down. And Elige gets 1 more. And him and Floppy just combining for an absolutely expert defense of the bomb site. Elige even picking up the AWP towards the end. That's everything you could have wanted.
Well, there it is. NIP going for that haymaker, knockout blow. The A execution coming through, looking for a clean finish here, but a lot more than they bargained for. Floppy on the other side, huge spray down here. Massive contributions with the M4A4, and it's Elite to close things out as well, as they have a solid defense here towards the A side of the map as they bring their task down to just 2 rounds here. And speaking of 2, a double AWP setup. Holzerk and Grim bring out the big green.
I like that. Why not? I think in that last round, if you're Hampus, you're hoping that they're going to go for one of those very in-meta 3-man stacks. Oh, God, Grim. Why did he pick up the AWP earlier when he was able to do this?
Okay, that was quite nice. You have to say, they didn't see that one coming. 2-for-1 deal. Brolan and Hampus have been removed from the equation here, Anders. And that might just be the round guaranteed right here, right now. 15-14 looking likely, but still plenty of time. Won't get ahead of ourselves, of course. With 2 players waiting towards B. If they did fully execute on this side of the map and found the entries, you never know. But it's going to be very difficult to flush these CTs out now. They've still got the majority of their utility. 4 smokes, dozens of flashes, incendiaries, as Rez tries to show some sort of presence towards middle. But what's he got? A flash and an HE?
No one's going to be convincing, is it?
It keeps 3 people there for now. It's something, but they need to operate very quickly now, as the AWP is ready and waiting. They've got smokes too.
You just need to win both these fights. You can't even really allow for Grim to get a kill and then trade on him. You just have to take him down cleanly. And the way that he was playing that earlier, not going to be easy. He'll find a 3rd one to take down Hetrick through the smoke. Oh, it's so perfect. That's 4 now. 1 more left for the aces. Rez is out there. No one coming up banana right now. And that smoke's going to be fading in the next couple of seconds here. So Rez just finding it very, very awkward. The bomb is lost to him as well, so even if he was to find an escape, he can't do anything on the A side of the map, and might just try and play it out. They're hunting him down. It's Jaded to get the last one, but Grim, the absolute superstar of this round.
Yeah, not known to be an AWPer, Anders. I think that's a fair statement, but he delivers on all fronts here. These are the kind of moves we want to see from Holzerk, right? And he's delivering.
Yes.
2 massive opening frags there with the AWP. Falls back to the defensive line of the coffins. Take down Hetrick. 1 through the smoke for good luck as well. That's what you love to see. A moment of brilliance there from Grim just when they needed him most. As we go 15-14, it will be NIP with their final timeout here.
Out of things. We'll see how it goes. Round number 30. Tech 9s One MAC-10, some Deagles in play. Yeah, this is real sketchy. They're actually going to be throwing away one of the AWPs up on top of the roof in the CT spawn just so that no one can pick it up. Grim, JT instead there to pick it up, and it's a 3-man setup at the B bomb site. And so far, so good. This is definitely looking like overtime.
Well, what a great call that is. So you can see exactly what NIP wanted to do there. Noticing Grim had the AWP on the B side of the map. They've got the pistols, the MAC-10s. Let's try and shut him down. Let's try and flash him out. They've thrown the AWP away. They've got the rifles. The absolute counter to what they had in mind. JT has called an absolute blinder in this map, I have to say. That's really impressive, the fact they've managed to find this advantage here looking likely for overtime, but you never know. 4 players still alive and kicking. Brolan just about with 10 points of health. They're going to have to limp in toward the B site. Alige looking so ready for this one. The incendiary in hand. You're not breaking through, boys. They've got another one. JT, he does have an incendiary as well. There's no way they can break through here. What can they possibly do?
Yeah, they really should never be able to. HE's on top to slow them down. They haven't even stepped on the bomb side, and they're already just so weakened up by this config. It's a good headshot, but you're going to need one more like that. Headtrick might be able to provide it, and Grim goes down.
No way.
Oh, no, not like this. They had 3 people. They had all the grenades ready. They just had to sit back and let NIP show up, and all of a sudden, it's turned on its head. Now it's Holzuk and Floppy going to go for the retake. They don't have any utility to get rid of this double back position, and there's a mind game here. You get one of these players. Are you checking for the second, or are you checking somewhere else? Hampers out wide, showing himself. He's going to get the kill, and now it's Floppy. The last one left, and the dream is dead. Complexity. They can't get to overtime. Instead, NIP pick up their opponent's map, and that's huge for them, obviously. They're going to be celebrating this one for sure.